Thank you, thank you. You're far too kind. And welcome back, guys. It's your boy, Danny DeLorean, back at you with another video. You keep coming, I'll keep feeding you, baby ducklings, more content. It's December 31st, 2021, and you know what that means. We are now 1 year in to my 5-year plan. Started last year on New Year's Eve, and here we are. Technically, we should be around 20% done with each of my 18 goals, but it's time to take a look at where I've been hacking and where I've been slacking along the way. So, before we get into each goal individually, let's take a brief overview. Take a look at all 18 goals from the bird's eye. The bird's eye. As you may remember, I broke my 18 goals down into 6 categories with 3 goals in each of them. The categories are career goals, educational goals, financial goals, fitness goals, personal goals, and relationship goals. You can see all 18 goals from here, but we're just going to hop right into it and get started with career goals. My first career goal is to better utilize my strengths within my career. Back toward the beginning of the year, I finished reading StrengthsFinder 2.0 by Tom Rath, and I also took the assessment after reading the book to determine what my top 5 strengths are. The results are as follows. First, command. Second, strategic. Third, adaptability. Fourth, relator. And fifth, activator. Now that I have these results, along with some tools that teach me how to utilize them, whether that is in my professional life or in my personal life, the next step is simply to implement those. So I think I'll start off with number 1. Look for ways that I can apply this to my life, specifically in my job at this point, in order to maximize the presence that I bring to the office in a good way. My second goal was to increase my salary by 50% within 5 years. So in 2021, my gross income was $77,818.39, which is already a 42.4% increase from 2020. So we're off to a great start there. When you also consider that I took a pay cut to live in a lower paid duty station for most of last year, then I think I'm really close to hitting that 50% already. So as I look at this goal and I still see that I have 4 years to go, first step, of course, is to cross that 50% mark. But once I get past that, I think that I might alter this goal to be reset on a rolling basis. So at any point in time, I should ideally be making 50% more than I was 5 years ago. So I will keep an eye on this one. First, of course, we have to cross that 50%, and then maybe we'll reevaluate that goal. The third goal, and my final career goal, is to maintain genuine satisfaction within my career. As you remember, last year, I evaluated myself based on 5 categories on a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being most satisfied, 1 being least satisfied. And those categories are my nature of work, job security, salary, benefits, and relationships. In 2021, I actually saw my score decrease, and this was mainly due to my benefits not being as great as they were last year. That's because I'm no longer receiving health insurance through my employer. I'm still getting a nice 30 days of annual leave, which is really a blessing. So I can't drop it that far, but it would be nice to get that health insurance back. So that's where I'm at with my career goals. Moving on to my educational goals. My first educational goal is to finish reading 25 books by the end of the year 2025. Naturally, I will be aiming for a pace of 5 books per year, but I've actually gotten a little bit ahead of pace in my first year, and I've already finished 8 books. This goal has been coming rather easily to me because I've really enjoyed reading the books that I've chosen, and I think that I will be able to accomplish this goal by the year 2023, hopefully by the end of the year if I keep up this pace. The downside, however, is that I've been reading a lot of self-help books and business books, and by the time I finish one, I tend to jump right into the next one, which means that sometimes I can forget about what I learned from the previous book. So in order to combat this, I'm planning to record videos about the 1 or 2 key ideas that I've taken away from each of the books that I've read. Let's move on to goal number 5. my second educational goal, which is to speak French and Spanish conversationally. I practiced French, Spanish, and even a little bit of Chinese on Duolingo in 2021, and I finished in the top 1% of all Duolingo worldwide learners, which is really great. I will admit though, I did a lot of this learning in the first 7 or 8 months of the year because I did travel to Spain and France, and I had an opportunity to practice speaking Spanish in Spain and French in France, which was really a great opportunity, and I'm looking forward to the challenge of having that opportunity again. However, when I came back from those trips, I was much less motivated because I had nothing on the horizon to look forward to in terms of practicing speaking those languages. So at this point, I have just been kind of cruising along on Duolingo, doing like one lesson per day in order to keep my streak alive. But recently it was announced that my job would be offering a language learning course, which will be online. And it hasn't been released yet, but it's something that I'm looking forward to taking on in 2022. Until it's released, I'm planning to just continue learning on Duolingo. Moving on, number 6, my final educational goal is to strategically earn a graduate degree. This is one goal that I really have not made much headway towards, and I have yet to do research on a valuable and meaningful field of study, something that really I could see myself branching off into for ideally a career that I can be spending the rest of my life in. I do not want to choose something just because I want to study anything. I'd rather take the time for something to dawn on me, or maybe put in some work to research something that would be valuable for me and for an employer, and something that I would really enjoy doing for quite some time. So those are my educational goals, and that's my update for 2021 on those. Next up are my financial goals. My first financial goal is to develop a side hustle or a second stream of income apart from my day job. While I have not yet developed a side hustle at this point, I have thought of a few ideas that I might like to try in 2022. Actually, I'll be disappointed in myself if I don't try any of these in 2022. Those ideas are to become a volleyball referee or a baseball/softball umpire outside of work. To monetize my YouTube videos, I think that I need to reach a certain number of subscribers before I can do that, but really that would be a dream because I really like producing these YouTube videos and sharing them with you. And then the fourth option would be to provide video production services. I can assemble the videos if someone has clips that they need me to produce. Maybe you've seen some of my other videos. I'm actually quite proud of my Pure Summer videos, which I put a lot of work into, and I think that the final results are great. So if someone is looking for a person to be a freelancer in terms of putting their videos together, that is something that I would be interested in as well. So I'll look for opportunities in those 4 categories and try something in 2022. My 8th goal overall, and my second financial goal, is to establish and maintain a 6-month emergency. This one is the first one that I've fully accomplished. I have raised $10,000, which is actually equivalent of 7 months, a little more than 7 months of my needs, expenditures, at least in 2021. When I move back to New York in 2022, it's probably going to be closer to 6 months, but I am glad that I reached that $10,000 goal, and I'm really looking forward to the easy part now, hopefully the easy part, which is maintaining that emergency fund. As long as an emergency doesn't come up, I'll just keep it, let it grow in the high yield savings account. If an emergency does come up, then I will of course need to start contributing back into that account in order to reestablish that floor that I'm looking for at $10,000. My final financial goal is to maximize my annual retirement contributions. For the 3rd year in a row, I have maximized my Roth IRA contributions, which is great. I've also become a business in 2021. Yeah, as Jay-Z once said, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. I love that. And I've been looking forward to saying that for some time. But anyway, I've been able to open 2 individual 401ks for myself as a self-employed person. And I've been contributing a total of 30% of my income, my net income that is, to retirement. And I've also saved an extra 20% on top of that for various purposes like my emergency fund and other items or events that I've been saving for along the way. So in terms of my financial goals, things are looking good so far, and I'm planning to keep up that momentum moving forward. Now let's talk about my fitness goals. I'm actually going to start with goal number 12 here, which is to run at least 2 more Abbott World Majors. Those are the Big 6 marathons in the next 5 years. So I have actually already ran the Chicago Marathon in 2021 back in October, which qualifies as one of these races. So that leaves 4 that I have yet to accomplish in my lifetime. Those are Berlin, Boston, London, and Tokyo. I heard that Boston is not taking entrance through the lottery anymore, so you have to qualify. Since I'm not qualified for Boston yet, my next options will be Berlin, London, or Tokyo. So I will be applying for those every year until I get in, and hopefully I'll be able to knock one more off at least within the next 4 years, and then maybe even more than that within that same time frame. Now let's jump back to goal number 10, which is to bench press 10 reps of my own weight or higher. As I was focusing on marathon training, I did lose some weight, so I guess the total amount of weight I would have to lift was less, but I also lost some body mass and strength due to this training, so I really wasn't in any position to max out my bench press in 2021. I did return to the gym in November after the race in October, and I have been hitting the weights, and I really have only returned to around the same level as I was at the beginning of 2021. But I have no races lined up in terms of running, so I'm looking forward to putting some more weight on and gaining some strength over the next few months and over the next entire year, really. And even more excited than I am for that, I'm excited to get back on the basketball court. A gym right next to my house in Denver recently reopened to monthly memberships, and they have an indoor basketball court, so I'm absolutely pumped about this. They also have a jumping platform where I can set it to different heights and do box jumps really in the gym and work on my vertical leap, which will help me to accomplish goal number 11, which is to dunk a basketball on a 10-foot rim during a game. I really didn't play any games in 2021. It's been a COVID life, and I had one practice that I was able to fit in while I was in New York, and then I played pickup games once with my cousins and once at the rec center by my place in Denver. And other than that, I've shot around a few times. So it's been the least amount of basketball I've played in the last 10 years at least. And I'm really excited to get back out on the court. So watch out for number 11. This is something that I might be pushing to accomplish within the next 3 months while I have access to this court. Goals numbers 13 through 15 all have to do with my personal goals. Goal number 13 is to learn to cook 5 specialty meals from scratch. I've discovered a few great dishes, but have not yet practiced them to perfection. Some of those great dishes that I have had experience making are white chicken chili, honey garlic glazed salmon, and the French dip sandwich, classic. And I've also really spent a lot of time practicing cooking breakfast because I cook breakfast for myself every day. I've learned a number of different ways to prepare eggs, and I think that they're really delicious. So that could be another specialty cherry on top. Goal number 14 is to organize my personal and virtual spaces. My physical place is generally kept pretty clean, and my virtual organization has improved over the past year, but it does have some room to improve further. And one area specifically that I would really like to improve on is organizing my time. Specifically, I'd like to work on my calendar and scheduling time blocks for myself that will help me to eliminate unscheduled distractions and draw clear lines between work time and free time. So that's what I would like to focus on in terms of organization of my personal and virtual spaces, and I'll include time in that as well. Moving on to goal number 15, my goal is to play 3 songs by memory on guitar and 3 songs by memory on piano. This is a tough one for me right now because I don't have easy access to either a guitar or a piano, but I do have my ukulele, my trusty old 4-stringer. And I'm planning to learn a handful of new songs on that ukulele. There's so many tutorials on YouTube, and there are so many other songs that sometimes I'll even find the guitar tabs for, translate it to ukulele, and then learn to play it myself. So one thing I plan to do with this is I plan to post some covers or some ukulele play-alongs on this YouTube channel. As you all know, I have been known to have the best voice on the internet. So if you have any songs that you'd like to hear or like to learn how to play, post them down in the comments below and maybe I'll give them a shot. That's it for my personal goals. Now on to the final category. My final category of goals is relationship goals. Goal number 16 is to be happy with my romantic relationship. My ex-girlfriend and I had recently broken up a little over a month ago, so I'm currently not in any romantic relationship at the moment. And I don't want to dig too deeply into those details now, but I have been taking some time to myself to reflect on this past relationship, what it has taught me, what I can learn from it, and what I should be looking for in a future potential partner. I'm really sad that this relationship didn't work out because my ex-girlfriend is really a wonderful person. And at the same time, though, I'm comfortable with where I currently stand, and I'm excited to see what the future will hold. Moving on to goal number 17, host a family party at my childhood home. This is a really tough one. I've not spent a lot of time at home back at my mom's house this year, but when I have been home, I've grown quite frustrated with the lack of influence that I can have towards this ambitious goal. Really, in order to accomplish this, it's going to take an entire team effort from everyone in the family, and we're just not at that point right now. So hopefully within those next 4 years, we can make some progress towards that and maybe host a Christmas party or something back when the world and the house is in a better state. Finally, my last goal is to nourish relationships with new and old friends. I really, to be honest, have not put forth a consistent effort to nourish relationships with those who have not been geographically close to me. Some of my best friends are friends from college that I don't get to talk to enough, or if I'm talking to them, it's just in a group chat. I would really like to reach out to them more and keep a consistent, friendly conversation going with them. One of my good friends out in New York, his name is Scott. He is fantastic at this, so maybe I can take a page from his book and learn to keep these long-distance relationships going. In terms of new friends, I have joined a basketball league and a volleyball league that will be starting up in January out in Denver. So I'm looking forward to meeting my teammates and potentially becoming friends with them. And I've also joined a skiing meetup group for Icon Pass holders out in Denver. So those are a few things that I can look forward to and hopefully, gain a little social life during this crazy time. That is a wrap on this video. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end. Remember, if you have any book recommendations, song recommendations for the ukulele, tips and tricks towards any of these goals that I'm working on that have worked for you, or experience shares, please go ahead and leave those down in the comments below. I look forward to reading those. And I would like to end this video with this. I think that after only 1 year, having worked on this 5-year plan, I'm a lot further along than I would have been had I never come up with the 5-year plan and never posted last year's video. Even the other day I was at my grandma's house for Christmas and my cousin called me out and she asked how my 5-year plan is coming along. And I really loved that. I thought that that's something that will keep me honest and it will keep me productive, which is the point of publishing this video in the first place. So please feel free to call me out if you see me in the future. Ask me how's it going. And if you're working on a 5-year plan of your own, I hope that this video helps you and you can learn something and maybe contribute something to someone else who is working on a similar thing. Let's go from where we are to where we want to be. Thank you again for watching and deuces.